Anjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindha Deenabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Janmadhyasya Tanvayaditaratas Charte Subhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyantiyat Suraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 30th chapter, and beginning from verse number 25. This is a description of people who do not perform devotional activity and want to enjoy material life. What happens to them? Where do they go after death? So this is a little bit horrible descriptions. It's not applicable to you, so don't become scared, because you are all exempt from this. Right? Because Yamdut, they don't come to a person who chants the name of the Lord. They have been specifically instructed by Yamaraj. Don't even go in the vicinity of such people who chant the name of the Lord. They made a mistake once. They got heavily punished for that. So this description, of course, is not applicable to anybody who is devoted to the Lord, who chant in the name of the Lord. Yamdutas do not have any sway, power on them. This is specifically for people who are grossly materialistic, as we saw in the previous verses. So there now it was described how when the person dies, then Yamdutas come, 2 of them, just in case the fellow tries to be funny. They won't let him. They catch him. They pull him out from the body, just like you are in your house, and not you, I'm sorry to say that, but somebody is in the house and has done a heavy crime. And the police will come, and usually not that one policeman will come, they will come of them at least. And they pull out the fellow from the house forcibly. So if you are kicked out, if someone is kicked out from the house in which he or she is living for 60, 70, 80, 90 years, then how much painful. And the person, of course, who is living in this house is not devotional, spiritual, nothing like that. He is a total materialistic person. So it's very traumatic experience. And after that also there is not a good treatment which he gets. He is given a special body which is designed to make the person suffer. The body is called suffering body, Yatna Sharir. This body can take a lot of pain and yet survive. Usually our body has certain limit. After that it becomes unconscious or one can even die. But this is a very special body designed to take the pain. So he is tied with the ropes, not physical ropes as we see. And then he is pulled from the neck and he is dragged 99,000 yojanas on the hot sand. And on the way there are dogs who are a little bit hungry and they like to eat the meat. They are not vegetarian. So they also take their portion. And there is no water or food given. It's not like you are traveling on a flight. You get some drinks and meals. Nothing of that sort. So the person is thirsty and hungry and has no energy, cannot walk, then he is beaten up. Sometimes he faints, falls on the ground, then he gets more beatings. Like that he is carried to the abode of Lord Yamaraj. So Yama means controller, Yama means rules and regulations. So when he comes there, then he is cooked nicely. Says that Adipnam Swagatranam Vestitvaulmakadibhi Atma Sadhanam Kwapi Swakritam Paratopiva. So then he is cooked in fire, like you've seen barbecue. So he is cooked like that on the coal fire all around. Sometimes you put these potatoes or sweet potatoes inside the fire. You roast them. To make this dal bati. You know how to make bati? You eaten dal bati? How do you make it? It has to be put inside the fire. You make a ball of flour mixed with ghee and you put it inside the burning fire. So like that he is made bati. His body is made into a bati. That is the meaning of Adupnam Vestitva Ulmukadi. Ulmuka means burning, the cinders, burning fire. Swagatranam, his own body is burnt like that. And then he is made to eat his own flesh by cutting. Because he is hungry, so there is no food given to him and he has eaten meat before. So anyway he has a taste for meat. So he eats his own meat. Then only he will realize what it means to cook others in fire. People are very happy. They call it Thanksgiving Day and kill all these turkeys and eat them. So So these people have to eat their own meat. And if he is not doing it himself, then the Yamdutas, they come with a sharp knife and they take a slice of his body and then serve him. Say, okay, we'll have some barbecue. So this is what happens to him. Adipnam sugatranam veshtitvolmukadihi atma masadanam koapi swakritam paratopi. Swakritam means cut by himself or by others. Sometimes people, they cook meat themselves, sometimes they make others do it. Also here. And जीवताश्चान्त्रभ्य उद्धार स्वगृध्रैर्यम साधने सर्पवृश्चिक दंसाद्यैर दशद्भिश्चात्म वैशसम. Then there in this city of Yamaraj there are dogs which are trained dogs, and there are vultures. So they pull out his eyes. And there are snakes and what is this called? Bichu? Scorpions. And very big, powerful mosquitoes, like you must see in Bengal. And then there are other flying gnats, like we have this tataya, yellow one. Wasps. And these are Indian wasps, because in Europe they don't bite. They bite in Europe?
Occasionally.
Very rarely. Yeah. But here they are ready.
Another one is black one is very powerful. They will why people will die.
Okay, so they have another variety also. So all these people, they come and they bite on him, and he cannot do anything. There are no mosquito repellents or anything like that. So they take freely their share and trouble this. And Krintanam cha vyavasho Nayadibhya vidapanam Patanam girit shringebhyo Rodhanam chambugartayo. All kinds of troubles are given. Then his body limbs are cut into pieces, but still it does not die. That is the beauty. And then he is back into his normal. It's all for suffering. So you cook him, and then he is again uncooked, and again cooking, and he again becomes uncooked. So every day you can do like that. And then there are elephants. So they come and they stamp on him, or they lift him up and throw him on the ground, or sometimes tear him apart. So recently there was a news that in Assam some elephants came, and when jeep was going, it has some travelers in it. So the elephant suddenly came and threw the jeep off the road and up on it. So many people, they ran away, but two were caught. So he caught both of them and smashed them to death in the spot. Killed two of them. Because they were not able to, two or three of them, one woman and two men, three actually. They were not able to run. Then he is taken to big mountain tops and thrown down from there. Like they do bungee jumping. So you do bungee jumping and the rope is cut. So he is also given that experience. Or he is put inside water, his head down, or in a ditch, and then you cover it, go into samadhi for some time. यास्तामिश्रन्ध तामिश्रा रौरवाद्यश्च यातनाः भुङ्क्ते नरो व नारी वा मिथ्या संगेन निर्मिताः. So like that there are various types of hells which are called Tamisra, Andha Tamisra, Raurava. Especially Raurava is called because everybody is making Rava. Rava means sound. Everybody is crying. When they are Ruru type of animal, they come and bite. So it is called Raurava. And then he is especially given troubled bhunkte narova nariva mitha sangena nirmita. If people have engaged in illicit relations, whether male or female, then they have to suffer there. Atraiva naraka swarga iti matah prachakshate yayatna vai narakyastaiha api upalakshita. And there is very interesting verse which he speaks, Lord Kapila. He says that, Mother, some people say that hell and heaven are here only. Atraiva. Not somewhere else. Because all these things happen to people here. All kinds of accidents happen, elephants stamping, somebody falling from the mountain, somebody falls into boiling oil or milk or something. So he says that some people say Atraiva narka swarga iti mata prachakshate yayatna vai narakya staiha apilakshita. But actually what it means is that as there is suffering in the hell, the similar suffering also exists here also. Both. It's not that the hell is not there. Hell is also there, and this earth also has hellish type of miseries. Therefore he says that ya yatna vai narakya staiha upalakshita. Otherwise the second, if there is no actual hell and hell is only here, then the second part of this verse does not make sense. Because it says that ya yatna vai narakya, the whatever is the hellish suffering or the suffering which is described in the hells, taiha api upalakshita, that is indicated here also. Meaning that all the types of suffering which exist in hell, they also exist here on earth. Not that they are only there. They are maybe more intense for a longer period, but they all can be seen in this world. Because it is not necessary that human beings have to suffer like this. People are born in other species of life and then they suffer like that. People in some parts of the country, they take a monkey, they make him sit down and they just cut off his brain. The monkey is live and then they eat him, the brain, in the spoon. So this is hellish. He is not even in the Yatma body. He is only in this body and they are doing like that. So there are many ways animals are tortured by people. And you see sometimes people are using the horse or bulls to carry load by bullock cart, horse cart, and they are completely dead, no water to drink, it's hot and heavy load on the back, and still the owner is beating them up. It's just like taking them to the place of Yamaraj. They are tied, they cannot run, no food, no water. So many these types of sufferings exist. There are places where people are caught as criminals even by mistake, and then they are made to suffer. Even in Mahabharata there is a story like this. The story of this Ani Mandava Rishi, that some thieves they stole from the palace, and when they came out, then the policemen they saw him, they started chasing, so these thieves ran and they dodged them. Finally they realized that police is still following them. So they went to this sage's ashram. He was meditating. So they threw all the booty they had stolen and they disappeared. So the policeman came, they saw him meditating, they saw that he is the thief, and now because he realized he will be caught, so he is making a show of meditating. They found everything there in the ashram. So they caught him, and the king, he put him in a stake. So he did not make any crime, but he was troubled like this. He was there for 24 hours. So there are all kinds of torture which goes on in the world. Therefore he says, Atraiva narka surga iti mata chakshate yayatna narakya vainarakya paihapi upalakshita. Whatever are the sufferings, they are also to be seen here. So there are not many commentaries on these verses. Yatna eva adipnam prajwalanam ityadina prapnoti iti nanyanva svena kritam chinnam pratyaparenava vashram pidam vidaya vidaranasya apnam prapnam vichet trapi rajnande kasanchit pratyavya kritanadini atmanam tatha srakshunam vanitadisu bhognanam chudashmanitvaratraviti. So there is nothing special in saying, basically is giving the meaning of some difficult words. There is no commentary on it. Evam kutumba vibhrana udaram bhara va visujjaya viham pretya bhunkte tatphalam idrisham. So he says that in this way, one who is busy maintaining his family life with great difficulty and or just maintaining oneself by performing impious deeds and not taking to any spiritual life, not performing any pious deeds, etc., then he has to give up everything here, the family, wealth, etc., and then he has to suffer the outcome of all the irreligious act one has performed. So nobody is spared from this unless one becomes a devotee of the Lord. So then he continues, Ekah prapadyate dhvantam hitvedam svakalevaram kusletara patheyo bhutadrohena yadbhritam. So he says that this is the path of Dhvanta or darkness or hell. So ekah prapadyate dhvantam hitva idam svakaleva. So after giving up one's kaleva, one's body, then one goes to hell. And he leaves of everything here. Visrijya iha ubhiyam pretya bhunkte tat. No, kusale tarap atheyo bhutadrohena yadbhutam. Whatever one has accumulated by improper means, by illegal means, then he goes here, and then the only food for the travel is his sins. So that he takes with him. Daivena asaditam tasya shamalam niriye puman bhunkte kutumbo pasya Ritvittaivaturaha. So it says that the person performs many sinful activities just to fill his belly and take care of the family life. Then such a person goes to this Tamisra by the Deva, and he has to suffer there. So this Tamisra is the ultimate limit. Kavalena yadharmena kutumba bharanotsuka yati jiva Tamisram charmam tamsapadam. This is the ultimate limit of ignorance. Basically, suffering means ignorance. All the suffering which a person undergoes is out of ignorance, and it is depicted here in the form of hell. So Tamisra means blind ignorance. Blindness itself signifies ignorance, and on top of that there is Tamisra. So this is called double ignorance. So then one continuously suffers. Athas tan narak nar lokasya yavatir yatnadaya kramsa samanukramne punaratra avrajechuchu. So he said that a person who performs all these sinful activities, and he has to undergo through all these sufferings, and then has to take birth in lower species of life, and then gradually comes again and becomes human being. So in human being there is again a possibility of doing some good work, and if one does not do that, then again one has to go down. So there is very little commentary here. It says Kusaletarat papameva pathayam maranapat bhogyam yasyasa bhut drohena yad bhritam pustikritam tat sthulam kalevram hitva. So just as when you travel, then you carry some food with you. If you don't carry food, at least you carry some money, because these days you can find McDonald's on the way and you can buy your burger or something. In the olden days, when there were no such facilities, then people used to carry their own food. I remember in our childhood, if we went somewhere, and in India even now there is not so many. Of course, now if you go on the highway, there are plenty of dhabas where you can get food. But even 25 years, if you remember, there was nothing. So you have to carry your own water, your own food. So in the same way, this life is a journey, and death is another journey. It's like changing your house. Body is like a house. When somebody dies, he is going from one house to another house. So it is a transfer from one place to another place. People change houses in their own lifetime. So only thing is that when you change house here, you carry your own things. You can get a U-Haul and put all your things in that, and then put it behind your car and drag it to the new place. But when you die, then you are not allowed any other haul except your karma. So if one has performed any sinful activities, that is the food which goes. Then you have to eat that. Eat that means that now you are not going to get a good body. You may be born a dog in India, because dog in America is quite fortunate guy. He is happy in the house and taken care. But you have seen dogs here. So then one becomes something like that. And then gradually again comes to the human life. And in human life only we have a chance, because only human beings can understand. Only human beings can get self-realization. They can get spiritual knowledge. And that is the purpose of human life. So we can again miss that chance. Then we again go. And they give an example that there is a blind man, he is inside a big palace which has only one gate to come out. So he is going around touching the wall with his hand. When he comes near the gate, then he can feel that it is open and he can go out. Then he gets an itching on his back. So he starts itching his back and he moves and the gate is gone. So he again sees the wall. So he just goes around and around and he misses the gate every time. So we are like that. This human body is like the gate that we can actually get out of this prison. But if we keep on itching, then we miss the chance. Because all these material pleasures are like an itch. When you feel itching, it feels quite pleasurable. But it's not a pleasure. Dukkham eva vivekena. So for a viveki, everything is just misery. So that's what is being described, that we carry with us our karma, and that is called pathe here, or the food. Tasya papa kritasya kutamba posasya samalam malinyam dev prapitam kutamba virahitam eva bhunte hetuvitte. So he basically gets the result of his papa, the sin, and people perform sinful activity to maintain themselves. Tamso narkasya padam sthana. So goes to hell, or hellish position, even if one is not actually going to hell, because hell is not only a specific place as he described, but wherever one, hell means suffering. Yavatyo yatana yavat shabdena swa sukar adi yonyo yasta kramena prapya bhogena kshina papa suchesam punar narattam prapya. Then according to the suffering one has to go through, then one gets various lives and finally again becomes human being. So human life is very rare, and it is actually a special opportunity given to us or to a living being to understand oneself and then find a permanent solution. So this is the end of 30th chapter, where Lord Kapila has described the life of an ignorant person in this material world, and then what is the end result of such a life. And as I said earlier, the idea again is that intelligent person is one who understands or who learns from others' experience, so that we don't have to go through this and suffer. So this is the end of this chapter. If there is any question, otherwise we will stop. Yes.
So these hellish sufferings, are they purifying or are they just the reactions?
No, they are not purifying. They are just reactions. Just like suppose you are working and you earn some money, then you go on a vacation. So you use your money. When you come back, are you purified? You are not purified. You just use what money you took with you, which you have earned. Then you come back again and you earn again. So basically, whatever karma you perform, then you go through, whether it is good or bad, you suffer or enjoy, then you come back again to human life. Human life is the life where you earn. This is the earning body. And all other species of life are only the picnic, holiday, good or bad. Sometimes people go for a holiday, they get caught up in some problematic situation. Tsunami came and many people they were enjoying there in island, but they got trapped there.
So generally people perform sinful and pious activities during their life. Now, how does this go together with all this? Well, like somebody may have killed a person or was robbed or whatever, beaten heavily and all these things, but also done charity and good things.
Yeah, so you get both.
So how does that go? So first he gets the bad thing and then he enjoys, or the pious results? Or
Yeah, you suffer like this, then you also get the outcome of your good results, then you come back.
in another
That depends. If somebody is very, very sinful and little piety, then one may have to suffer first and then go to heavenly place or heavenly body. And if there is too much piety, then one may not have to go to hell at all. Because that little thing can be given here also. So it's also not that you exhaust everything. It's like even when you go on a holiday, you don't spend all your money. You keep something so that when you come back you can also continue your life. So like that, not that all karma is exhausted and then only you become a human being. Major piety and major sins, they are suffered or enjoyed, and then when some are remaining, and then again human being.
So the hell also comes proportionately,
Yes.
bits and pieces as he deserves it, not
Right.
all the way as it is described
No,
here.
not everybody is not same.
And another question I have connecting to this is, what about the samskaras? Does this experience of hellish suffering must be also leaving samskaras in the person's
No, this
chitta?
does not leave samskaras.
Nothing.
Samskaras are made when you are a human being. It's like when you dream at night, there are no samskaras left. You don't even remember what you dreamt.
Prabhu, in the beginning you said that those who are inclined towards devotional activity are exempt from this section that you're reading. But where is that point? Is it if someone chants once, or is it if someone is sincere, or if someone is insincerely practicing, are they exempt?
What is insincere?
Chanting on a superficial plane, not really.
Well, it's not question of superficial or what is the other word for that? Normal. The idea is what is your intention, because most important thing is the intention. So earlier in the previous chapter, Lord Kapila has described 4 types of spiritualities. Actually he has described last 5 chapters. He's been talking about yoga, sankhya, and then bhakti yoga. And in bhakti yoga he spoke of 4 types, and you can actually make these 4 divisions in everything. Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic and Nirguna. So means you perform some spiritual practice with an intention to harm somebody. Or you do it because you want to become famous, name and fame, or you want some material enjoyments. Or which another one is Sattvic, which is rare these days. This was more when people were following Varnashram system in India, that you do it just because you are born in a particular family and it happens to be the custom. So you do that. Suppose your parents are pujaris, so you also become a pujari, and you just do it because it's a duty. Or you do with an understanding and you have a goal that I want to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So depending on what is your intention, then you reach a particular destination. So even those who are doing it for some material motive, they may also get purified after a long period of time. Because such people will also hear naturally. And usually they will also hear that one should do spiritual life only for the sake of spiritual upliftment and not for this, not for that. So they may be, because they are very much attached to their desires, they may not pay heed to it. But after a period of time it may also strike them, or they may meet some holy people who influences them. So this is possible that they will also advance. Therefore Krishna actually glorifies even such people. He says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jano sukrita narjuna arto jigyasu arthati jnani cha bhartarshana. And then he says that they are all generous. Sarve bharayi. So they all have a possibility of advancing. Although this does not mean that now I continue doing it in an improper manner or with an improper motive. So they will also advance.
And they'll also be safe from...
Yeah, they will also be safe. Anyone who has little bit of sincerity will be safe. And that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Salpapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. That even a very little participation on this path saves one from the great fear. And this fear is this one.
Someone like Bharat, that he was a devotee and then he fell. So is he going through this?
No. He became a deer, and when he became a deer, even in that life he remembered everything from the past. So he was not even a normal deer. He was actually very conscious, and he left his place of birth and came back to the same ashram when he was the king. As a king he was practicing. He lived there, and even in that life he remained conscious. And then he was born as a great sage. So they don't have to know something like this.
Now the amount of the suffering that the soul has to bear, like a punishment, let's say, for their own deeds. Because sometimes it's that the question is, as much as violence he has performed, the same amount he has to go through and suffer.
There is no such rule.
No, there is no such a rule. So then the principle is that if he has done something wrong, like for example eating bodies of other entities, and then he has to eat his own body, cooked or fried or whatever. I mean,
Roasted.
like a bhakti. So then
It is not necessary.
he has inflicted so much pain to others, and now he has to experience that.
Yes. But how much, that it's not, that always has to be same amount.
Because the people who are materialistic people, they eat every day meat.
So it is not necessary that it has to be same amount. There are many, this law of karma is not as simple as people think. It's actually very complicated. And one of the factors which we should know is that the result mainly depends on the status of the person who is performing. Just as even in the state law, if somebody is insane and he commits a murder, then he may not be even punished for that. So same thing also here. Those who know, and if they commit, then they get a heavy punishment than those who do not know. Because one who has knowledge, with knowledge also comes the responsibility. So knowledge is not to take advantage and exploit others, but to advance. And if one is not doing that, then the reaction is more heavy.
What about the paradox of people who seem to be very bad, but seem to have a very good life?
And that appears like this because we are trying to analyze them in a very short period of life. But if you want to really analyze, then you have to look the whole history of such people. So and that's why I'm saying that this law of karma is not as simple as it appears. And it is also not that it just the person has performed karma only in this life and nothing in the past. So we all have a load of karma from the past, good and bad. Some good karma is giving us facility now, and what you are doing now, it will also come. And second thing is that many times it appears from far that this guy is not behaving properly and he is enjoying, but if you go near him and see his life more closely, then you realize that that guy is also suffering. Sometimes things look very pleasant from far, but when you see minutely, then they are not so good or well as they appear to be. So they may be suffering mentally. Externally, physically, they may look nice, healthy, attractive, or even smiling, but actually they may be suffering from insomnia at night, which we don't know. Or all kinds of other anxieties. So there are different types of suffering. It's not that always somebody has to be very sick and suffer physically. Mental suffering is more intense than physical. Sometimes people suffer physically, mentally they are sound, they don't suffer. Or they may be poor and some are rich. So rich people, they suffer in a rich manner. Poor people suffer poorly. So it's difficult to measure this happiness and suffering. It's not easy.